Hello positive readers, it's Positive Writer today with another video. And today, I kicked my tripod. I'm going to be telling you guys all about my favorite TV shows of all 2020. I can't believe I'm here, honestly. And I honestly can't believe I actually pinpointed every single TV show I watched down to a 15 TV show list, including honorable mentions, because I really just watched so much this year. Movies I watched a bunch, TV shows I watched a bunch too. So I want to talk to you about the ones that didn't make the list today. And so without further ado, let's just get into it. And obviously we start off with the honorable mentions first. And Avatar is absent from the honorable mentions this year, but fret not, it will be on the list, on the actual list, and you'll see why. But anyway, my honorable mentions today are Ultimate Tag, which is the first one. And Ultimate Tag was a TV show that I watched. And it was, basically, it was new this year, and it was a game of tag. It was like an extreme game of tag, where basically these people come on here, and they, compete for money, and they basically have to play this gigantic game of tag. And they're chased by people who have, like, personas and stuff, like very professional athletes who have these, fictional personas or whatever that kind of make it more fun and interesting to watch. And I thought it was great, honestly. I thought it was really, really good. And I really liked it, especially because it basically motivated me to watch, rewatch one of my favorite shows ever, which is on the list again. That's another competitive type show like this. And so I really love it, and I can't wait for season 2 to come out. I really enjoyed it, and it was a great part of my year. The next honorable mention is Dark, which was something that I watched earlier this year also. I watched all this earlier, so it makes no sense. Anyway, this show I watched, and I have not watched season 3 yet, but I did watch season 1 and 2. And season 1 and 2 were really good. I think I put it on the list because I put it on honorable mentions because I did enjoy myself. And the music was really, really good. The story was just like, it really kind of made you go wide-eyed and be like, wow, for real? I remember, I think it was the first episode that kind of just made me like, for like, no cap. Like, I think that was it. The first episode really kind of did it for me. And after that, I was kind of hooked. And like the finale with the seasons are really, really good. The theme song is immaculate. I love the show, honestly, I really do. It's just a little bit slow for me, and I have to be in the mood to watch it. And I have not been in the mood for a while. But I definitely enjoyed it, and it deserves a place on the list. The last honorable mention is Miraculous Ladybug, because I did not watch this show in order, but my sister is obsessed with it, and she watched it all in order, I think last year, about a year ago now, and it's funny because she really, really liked it, and one day she just dragged me into watching it, and I had no choice but to watch, and we just watched like the best or the episodes with the most content or whatever, and it was just, it's very funny, and we've watched it with my entire family now, and it's kind of really funny to watch, because the show is so good. It's good, but it's just stupid, it's not stupid, but the characters are stupid, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch of roundabout bullcrap, and it makes me upset sometimes, a lot of the time. But it's still a good show, and I definitely enjoy myself watching it, every episode that I've seen so far, so definitely deserves to be on the list. So now we're going on to the actual list, which I will be talking about what these shows are about. I just didn't for the other ones. I did talk about the first one, but Dark is on Netflix, and so is Miraculous Ladybug. Anyway, so now we're going on to the actual list. And this list starts off with number 16. I actually have 16 on the list. I was wrong. 16 is Veneno, which is an HBO Max original limited series about a trans sex worker in the 90s. And it basically goes through her life when she was like in her prime as far as in the limelight. And then now when she's like older, she's died. She died in 2016, unfortunately. But it basically is going back in her later life years and, kind of just talking about where she's like talking about her life, and it's just like really great. Like there's a trans girl main character who's like a teenager, and she kind of loves her. She loves her, and she always kind of has. So basically, she gives her advice, and she really helps her come into herself. It's a magnificent show. I really enjoy the show. It's pretty dark, but it's also really hopeful and wholesome at times. And I think it's just a magnificent show. And I love when people in real life get shows and things made after them, especially trans people, especially people who are not seen in nice or even seen at all lights in as far as like a media goes, because people make movies out of other people all the time, and most of the time I don't care because the people are either overrated or I just don't know them. But I love it when there are people who even though I did never have heard of Veneno before this show, her story deserved to be told, and I'm so glad that it was. So the next show is number 15, and this is David Makes Man. Another HBO Max, I think it's an original, and I watched this show. I haven't finished either of these shows, by the way. I've been doing a lot, but it's okay. These are shows that are very short, just like Veneno. David Makes Man is very short, but I love it so much, and I can't wait to finish it. It's basically about this black boy who is he's pretty smart. He's just going through a lot. And so it looks to everybody else kind of like he isn't really trying or isn't really smart. But when he applies himself, he is. And he has high hopes for the future and things. And he has his eyes set on like this really prestigious high school. He's in middle school. And the middle school he goes to is like gifted. He's like the only black boy in his class. And so he's going through a lot. But I think this show is amazing. It's magnificent. There are like trans and gender non-conforming people in it. I think the show is amazing. And it's like really black and really beautiful. And I love it so much. So definitely watch that. Both on HBO Max, by the way. HBO Max kind of hits, honestly. If they weren't $15 a month, I definitely have a subscription. The next one is the number 14, which is Prodigal Son. This I watched ages ago. But it was really, really good. And I haven't finished any of these on this list except for like the first 5 or something, but it's okay because this show was kind of just amazing, and I definitely will finish it because I loved it, and the next season's coming out next year and I need to hurry up. This show is about a guy named Malcolm Whitley. No, his name is Malcolm Bright, but his father's name was Whitley, but he changed it because his father's a serial killer. He's in a prison insane asylum, but he still like calls him up every now and then, actually like a lot more often than that. And basically in the past he was really messed up by his dad because his dad was kind of like grooming him to become the next serial killer or whatever. He would like kill people and like teach him stuff about the killing in like the house that they were in. A whole bunch of clownery, and Malcolm is very broken up and very he has a lot of problems now. He has a lot of mental disabilities and stuff. Not really disabilities, kind of like mental illnesses. And he's kind of a profiler. And basically it's about him being a profiler for this police force and kind of bringing this extra spice to the table other than like a normal cop would do. And it's him and him and his family dealing with the media, his dad clowning him and stuff. It's a whole bunch of stuff going on, but the show is great. Honestly, like his dad scares me, and I think the show is great. I think it's very nerve-wracking and it has made me scream multiple times, which is a good sign for like any show. So I really enjoy it, and I'm gonna finish it soon, but definitely it's on this list for a reason, and I think you should watch it. It's on Hulu, so go watch it. The next show is number 13, and this is Lock and Key. I love this show. I watched this in like January, I think, and then I watched it again with my family later on, and I loved it both times. And I think the show is magnificent. It's made, one of the creators of it is Carlton Cuse, who is also a creator on Motel, my favorite show. So I immediately am like, I gotta watch this. And the first episode has a reference to Motel, so that just made me so happy. But yes, the show is great. It's about this family who has just lost their patriarch, the dad. He's dead. And they basically are moving to this new town, but it's not a new town because their dad used to live in this town, and in this house that they're living in called Key House. And the whole town is like, y'all are living at Key House, wow. And the kids are like, I don't care about this. The mom's like, this is history, but she's kind of aloof. And their uncle's kind of popping in every now and then. But it basically turns into this gigantic thing because they start finding these keys, and they're like, what do these keys do? And then it's like a whole thing about this person might want the keys, and like we have to keep them from her. A whole bunch of stuff going on. I definitely recommend it. I think you should definitely watch it. It's a great show, and it's just a great show. It's funny, it's suspenseful, it's sad at times. It's just really great, and I love it. And it's on Netflix, so watch it. Next season's coming out next year, and they already got renewed for another one. So I'm really, really excited for that. The next one is number 12, which is Umbrella Academy. I really enjoyed Umbrella Academy Season 2 this year. I already watched Season 1, obviously, from last year. And this year, Season 2 was definitely on this list because I enjoyed it a lot. First off, the soundtrack is always just the best thing ever, because especially this time, because they basically came back. I'm not gonna spoil it, but this one was kind of set in, I guess this is kind of a spoiler, in the 60s, and so the music was so 60s, and I love vintage music already, so just to listen to all those songs, it was just really, really great. I really loved it. It was really funny. It was really, really funny, honestly. Like, the show was very funny to me. I can't really recall anything. I'm just like, oh my god, for real? Like, it's just kind of one of those shows that's just really enjoyable for me, and I really liked it. And I love the characters, I love the stories, and the music especially is amazing. And the fight scenes, I just think it's magnificent. So, it's great. And definitely think you should watch it. It's on Netflix. The next one on the list is number 11, and that is High School Musical, the series. This, I never expected to be on my list. I watched this in like May. I was very sad. I was I graduated high school this year, if you didn't know. And so I'm fresh out of high school. But in May, I had not graduated yet because of Corona and because I just would not have graduated until like June anyway. And so my high school experience was not the best. That's not really because of me at all, because I'm a good student. It's not my grades or anything. It's because the high school I went to was like very small. The people like sucked. It was like the worst thing ever because everybody knew each other already, and I'm just a different sort of person. I'm not, I don't run with the pack. I don't do things other people do, really. I'm very different. That sounds, I guess, cliche or something, but I really am just an unusual person. Especially to other people, apparently. And so, I don't know. I was just going through a lot. So I never really had friends or anything in high school, and the friends I did I had to drop because they weren't real friends, So to see this show in May of 2020, I was like so upset. First off, I don't like things that are cliche or basic. So anything about high school I think is just dumb because I'm like, this is not the real experience, so shut up. I get very judgmental when it comes to things like this. And also, the characters have very wholesome and cute relationships. It's a very wholesome environment here. There's no doing drugs or, drinking or smoking or anything. They really just have a very wholesome high school experience, and they're all theater kids, too. In my first year of high school, I did take drama, and it really reminds me of that, and I kind of miss it a lot. So, watching that kind of just made me upset and jealous, and so I was mad. But then, my sister, who loves it, who started in the first place, was like, we should watch this again. And I'm like, why would I do that? But we were like, you can watch some of our reactions of it in Vlogmas. I forgot which vlog it was. I'm pretty sure it was number 2. And yes, I did watch it again in December. And it was just like the best thing ever. Because what we did first was we watched the behind the scenes cut thing that they had before it, which I never even knew existed. And it basically explained how everybody got on the show and their excitement about the show and their connection to High School Musical and stuff. And it kind of just made me have a greater appreciation for the show because I'm just watching it as this is dumb high school show. And I never watched High School Musical or cared about it at all. So I'm like, okay, I don't care about this at all. But to see everybody that cared about it so much when the movies came out and then now it gets to be in a show that's kind of based around it, really makes me happy. And it was like so great. It's like set in the actual high school, the High School Musical was set in, stuff like this. Really makes me appreciate it. Then we rewatched it and I'm just like, where has the show been all my life? Like I watched it already, but I'm in a better headspace now, and so I'm out of high school. I can appreciate the things that were good, and I can also, think about the fact that I obviously wanted more for myself and the people around me. And this show kind of just is the people around me that I want, because like I said, the characters are so wholesome, and they have great growth, and they have great relationships, and it's such a wholesome experience. Usually in high school stuff, you see people, peer pressuring people into doing illegal stuff or doing something that's a little risky, and, it's kind of sickening and it's kind of annoying and redundant because I obviously did not have that experience, and a lot of people around me did not either. A lot of people that I know did not either. It's just not a universal experience, and it's kind of dumb that people continuously do that narrative. So to see something that's completely opposite, that's really just the ideal high school experience, a whole bunch of people in this theater class that really, really care about the theater, are great students, and just are really nice and wholesome and like supportive of each other. Beautiful. I love the show so much, and the whole cast is amazing. I watched the holiday special. I love this show. And I never thought I'd be talking about it this much, but I just think it's magnificent, and you should definitely watch it. It's on Disney Plus. It's great. I love it so much. I love every single cast member, every single character. It's just the best show, so definitely watch it now. The next one is number 10. We're on top 10 now, and this is Fear Factor. This show I have always known about, and I've watched it a little bit in the past, like randomly. But this year, I really kind of binged it, even though it wasn't in order. It was like the episodes that I thought would be interesting and that my family thought would be interesting. But it just really turned into a household thing for us because the show is not only nerve-wracking and ridiculous, it's just really funny and entertaining. Because it's kind of like reality TV, and though I will not watch reality TV like normal, like a Real Housewives or something, because I think real people are boring anyway, especially real people who are like being filmed to act like they're not being filmed. I just think it's boring. But Fear Factor is like the fear aspect to it. So we get the drama, we get the tea, we get all this, stuff that you usually see in reality. But then you have the fear added to it, and I think it's magnificent. And not only the fear, it's kind of like, the cinematics of the stunts and stuff they have to do, the disgusting ones they have to do. It's like, it really makes you think, would I want to be on here? It's great. And they have like different themes. They have like twins, siblings, and stuff like this. I think it's amazing, because I get to see these different people that, different people in these different types of relationships, and sometimes like solo people, just kind of go together in these very, very strenuous situations. And so I love the show so much, and my family, we had field days about this show. Like, it's a great show. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it, and we haven't watched every single episode, so we'll definitely be coming back to it sometime because I thought it was great, and we all thought it was great, and I like it. and that's why it's so high on the list, because it was surprisingly very, very interesting. And also, they had a Bates Motel themed episode. And that's enough said. Watch Fear Factor. It's on Hulu. The next one is number 9, and this is Sex Education. I love Sex Education Season 2. I think of all the Season 2s I watched this year, this was my favorite one, because it was just so beautiful. The first one, again, one of these shows that I watched when I wasn't in a good headspace. I watched it the first time, and I'm, again, longing for this experience of just being a normal teenager or whatever, and I really just was very sad. And I rewatched Season 1 before Season 2 came out so I could be refreshed, and because I knew I was in a better place, because it was literally a year later. And I appreciated Season 1 so much. Like, the show was very aesthetic to me. Like, I could probably sit down and watch it right now, because it's very aesthetic, it's very nice and quirky and fun in a way that a lot of shows aren't, and it's very honest about, like, sex and stuff like that, and I think that's great. And especially for, like, teenagers, I think it's great. And so, Season 2, it just hit. It was just, like, the best thing. Like, I liked Season 1, but Season 2, I adored. Because it kind of just, the characters, they developed in so many different ways. There were new conversations to be had. There were new storylines, you know, new relationships. It was just great, and I loved it so much. I think I made a whole video about it, my favorite season, favorite characters, and stuff like that. I usually do when I rewatch stuff that I like. But, yes, you can go watch that if you want to. But I really enjoyed myself, and it was just amazing. And I kind of stopped telling what the shows are about. But Sex Education is about this guy named Otis, this 17-year-old dude. His name is Otis, and his mom is a sex therapist. And so he decides, maybe I should become a sex therapist for my classmates, because they are all idiots when it comes to sex stuff. And he kind of is good at giving advice. And so he does it. And it's a whole bunch of clap going on. But this is Season 2, so it's obviously not that, which is probably why I have not talked about the rest of them, because they've all been Season 2s. But it's fine. Something that's not on this list that I did kind of enjoy, this is completely off topic, is 13 Reasons Why Season 4. It was, like, idiotically ridiculous, but I did enjoy some parts, and it definitely kind of deserves to be mentioned at least. But yeah, that was Sex Education. I really loved it. I cried so many times. It was just beautiful. Moving on, we have number 8, which is American Gladiators. Well, remember when I mentioned Ultimate Tag? This was the reason why I loved Ultimate Tag so much, and why it ended up being an honorable mention. Because even though I loved Ultimate Tag, American Gladiators really was the thing that shined the most. Because I've always loved this show. This show got canceled in like 2008, and it came out, I think, before that, obviously. But I watched it at the time when it first came out, and I rewatched it after because I loved it so much. And I just rewatched it this year, and it kind of just, you know, the love was always there, but it just multiplied. I love the show. It's basically based off the show that came out in the 90s, and it's like these normal people come out here, and they have to battle it out with these gladiators who are very strong, very tall, very big people, and they have to basically battle it out in these different, you know, in this arena of different activities that they have to do. And it's very physically taxing, and I just think it's magnificent, and I'm very sad it's canceled, because I kind of want to be on it. But anyway, yeah, I think the show was great, and I definitely had to put it on this list, because, and at number 8 especially, because I've loved it for so many years, and I never stopped, and watching it again just made me love it even more. And I haven't watched Season 2 yet, so I'll definitely be doing that soon, so it might be on the list next year, who knows. The next show is number 7, and that is Revenge. This is another show that I've loved for years. I watched this in like 2013 or something, when it had already come out with 2 seasons, and because my grandma watched it, and my dad was like, we gotta watch this, and we watched it. And then I rewatched like 1 season, and it's magnificent. I loved it so much. So it was great. And then I like watched Season 2, we watched a little bit of. I think we might have finished it, and then Season 3 I watched by myself. And then I just stopped, because Season 4 was very confusing. I was like, what's going on? So my sisters decided, we kind of want to watch this, and I was like, I'm always down to watch Revenge, because the first season is just, I could just take a bite of it. It's just really good. And so we watched it, and now we're like well on our way in Season 4. Not really, we're like on episode 4. But anyway, we're in Season 4 now, and it's just, again, magnificent. This show was just great. The Season 1 is just great. The show is basically about this woman named Emily Thorne, who is going, and basically her name is actually Amanda Clark, because in the past, her father was framed for a terrorist attack. And so basically they took him away from her, and he's dead because they killed him in like prison. And so she is livid, you know, she's very upset, and they basically, you know what I'm saying, brainwash her into thinking that he was a bad person and stuff too. And so she is now hell-bent on making everybody that had anything to do with this pay. And that's why I call it Revenge. And I think it's a great show. I think the acting is amazing. I think the music, I have like a playlist on Spotify of every single song in the show, because the music is that amazing. I'm telling you, the songs in this show, especially Season 1, were like the soundtracks to my life back in like 2013, 14, 15. I'm not even lying. And I can listen to any of them right now and love it. So, watch it. It's on Hulu. I definitely recommend this. Please watch it. It's great. And I really like it, and I can't wait to finish it finally because I've been watching it for like 7 years now. The next one is number 6, and this is 911. I love this show so much. I never thought I'd be watching this. I used to hear about it, and it was like, okay, you know what I'm saying, whatever this is sounds cool, but I'm not going to watch it because I just don't have time and don't feel like it. But then I like, you know what I'm saying, Angela Bassett's in it, so that's like a deal. That's like immediately I want to watch it. And it's about basically first responders. And I'm like, okay, you know, doctor TV shows are kind of lost on me, but first responders, I never knew how interesting they could make them, because what they do is they start off like every episode basically with, you know, people in these really, you know, normal situations or these really crazy situations, and they end up getting into some types of, you know, some types of clownery, which makes them have to call 911. And the stuff that they have to do, the stuff that the people go through that they have to get called 911 for, is just amazingly ridiculous and fantastical, and they, like, you know what I'm saying, it's crazy stuff going on at all hours, and I love it. And the characters, they really kind of shine. They really kind of steal the show. Not kind of, they do, because the characters are so wholesome, and like the found family of like the fire department especially is just so beautiful, and Angela Bassett's character is amazing. I just love the show a lot. It's just like everything I love about shows. I cried on it so many times. It's so wholesome and so beautiful and I love it so much, and I definitely should watch it. It's on Hulu, and yeah, I've started watching Lone Star too, which is like, I don't know, a companion or whatever, made by the same people with different people. But I think that's great too. I haven't watched that many episodes at all, but I think it's great, and I definitely will probably watch that more in the future. But I think it's great, and I love the show, so definitely watch it if you want to cry, laugh, smile, be happy. It's a great show, and it gives you hope. The next thing, we're now on number 5, because we have 5 more TV shows we got to talk about, and I can't wait, because these are like the best shows ever, period, and also the best show that I watched this year, because I watched all my favorite shows this year, and found this new one, because this show is Mr. Mercedes. I love, like, if you're watching this, obviously, you see my face lighting up, because I love this show so much. This show I found because I was looking for mother and son TV shows, because that's what I do. And I was looking for it, and I knew it existed, and I was like, okay, cool. Don't really know what it's about. I know Stephen King has something to do with it, which, okay, he's kind of a legend, so I might watch it. But it was kind of just always on the back burner. I'm like not excited to watch it. But one day, and I first thought it was a movie too. I hate when I think something's a movie or I think it's a TV show and it's the opposite, because then I'm like not ready to watch it, because either I was waiting for a movie or I was ready for a TV show. Anyway, I did watch it. And I decided to kind of sit down and watch it one day. And it immediately kind of just grabbed me by the throat, and it's never let go, okay? It's based off a book, and I started the book, and I was supposed to finish it like a while ago, but it's okay, I'm going to finish it in January. But I love this show. It's one of the best shows I've ever watched in my life, and obviously it's number 5 on the list. It has to be, because this show is just marvelous. It's amazing. It's about this detective, and he basically is retired now, because he's retired, and what gets the ball rolling of the story is the fact that in this years before this detective retired, this guy ran over, like, I don't even know how many people, a lot of people at this outside job fair, with his Mercedes, and he killed and injured so many people, and they could not catch him. And the lead detective on the case is now Bill Hodges. He now is retired, and he never caught him. And now he's being taunted by this guy who, like, sends him letters and stuff, talking about how, you know what I'm saying, he's encouraging him to, like, kill himself and stuff like this, saying, you're never gonna find me, stuff like this. And so Bill's like, okay, I'm gonna find you. And what's amazing about this show, there are so many things, but what the main thing I love so much about it is because usually when it comes to stuff like this, you only see the point of view of either or. You either see the criminal's point of view or you see the detective's point of view. But this show and this book does both. It has, like, the differences and the similarities in their lives going on, like, at the same time all the time, because it shows both of their lives and then how they almost cross paths, because it's all set in this one town. So he's not, like, you know what I'm saying, at the edge of the world somewhere. They just don't know who it is. And so, you know, they have, like, shots and stuff where, like, you know what I'm saying, passing by and don't even know it. It's just magnificent. I love it so much. I love it. Like, I love it. It made me cry. It made me yell. I just showed, like, light something in my bones. Like, I just love every single thing about it, and it's just great. I love it. From start to finish, amazing. I have not finished season 2 or 3 yet, because those are not based off the book, so they're less interesting than season 1, but I still will, because I love the characters too much to stop. But still, season 1 is just marvelous. It's on I think it's on Peacock. Yeah, watch it. I think it's magnificent and I love it so much. I just love it. Like, honestly, it's just like the best show. Honestly, like, I can't believe I took so long to watch it because, wow, it's just marvelous. And I can't wait to finish the book either. Alright, moving on to number 4 on the list. And I have to make sure because I don't want to not put respect on somebody's name. Number 4 on the list is The Vampire Diaries. This show was my favorite show for years. It was my favorite show for 2016, 17, and 18. Then 2019 came and Base Motel took everybody off. But and for those years, it deserves to be on this list regardless because it's a part of me and my sister's core 3 TV shows, which I'm getting to the rest of them. But The Vampire Diaries is now on this list again because I watched it. I started rewatching it again this year. I haven't rewatched this show since 2018, so it was like, But I started it soon with my sister. I started it soon. Wow, recently. And it's amazing. I love it. Obviously I love it. Like, there's not really anything else I can say about this show. Like, I've always loved it, and it's great. And I love rewatching it now because, again, this better headspace type vibe. This show kind of rejuvenated my existence when I first watched it in like 2016 because I really needed a show like this. I needed something to like hold on to, and it kind of really helped me. It gave me that, and really helped me and shaped me as a person in the years to come. And I kind of just fell off because, stuff be happening. But I started rewatching it, obviously, and now I kind of, I feel a lot better and just kind of more me now. So I can kind of look and see stuff better for what they are in the show. It's like, it's a weird experience, but it's very enjoyable. And I love the characters, of course. I love Damon. He's the best character. Yeah, so, yeah. I love the show. Definitely watch it. It's on Netflix. I recommend it for sure. Number 3, we're at the top 3 now, y'all. Can we believe we're at the top 3? You already know. She came in. She knew. She knows what's good. She was sitting outside. She was waiting for this. So basically, number 3 on the list is the critically acclaimed Criminal Minds. This show... This is the oldest show on this list because even before Revenge, there was Criminal Minds. And Criminal Minds is just magnificent. Like, this show, we've been watching it, me and my sister have been watching it for like 7 years now. And this year was the first year we finally decided to sit down and watch it entirely. And not only that, they came out with season 15 earlier this year, in the very beginning. And so we got to watch the last season of the show on TV air. And we've never gotten to do that with any other season. So it was just magnificent experience all around. And then we re-binged the whole thing. And like, we just love it so much. Like, there's such an appreciation for the show now because we've seen every single episode. It's just really great. We love it. It's great. Like, there's not much I can say about this show. It's really just amazing. This show, I mean, if you haven't heard of it yet, watch it. But it's about these, it's about this behavioral analysis unit of the FBI, which basically goes out and they basically profile these criminals who are like serial killers and things, and they profile them in order to go get them. And so the person, until they find them, is just an unsub because they don't know who it is. I think the show is just magnificent. It's amazing. It's great. It has 15 full seasons. It can't not be great. Like, it's great. Okay, season 15, we're not talking about that. But everything else, amazing. You know what I'm saying? I had to know. But it's a great show. It's a great show. Okay, like, it's amazing. It's something there for everybody. I love the show. I love the criminals, the unsubs. I love the characters, the team. It's just, I really, I love the show. And you can go watch every single reaction for every single episode of season 15 in a playlist on my channel called Criminal Minds. If you want to. If you don't have to. But like, yeah, we reacted to every single episode, and so definitely go watch those. They were very funny. But yeah, the show's great. Definitely number 3 on the list. I love it. It's amazing. Okay, done. Season 2. Cool. Number 2 on the list is Legend of Korra. This actually is usually on my honorable mentions because I don't usually watch it. But this year, they put it on Netflix, and I just had to watch it. It's not even like I had to. It was just written in stone. You put Korra on Netflix, Ben's gonna watch it. Like, it was like a domino effect immediately. Because, first off, no one has ever liked or cared about this show except me, okay? Everybody has hated it. Okay, until it ended, and then all of a sudden people are up in arms. But I'm telling you, I was the lone fan of Korra. Okay, back in 2012 when it first came out, I loved it since the first time I saw the promo. Okay, and to now have that show be on Netflix, I died. I really just died and went to heaven. Yeah, to see Korra on Netflix was a special type of joy. To know that it was coming, I immediately was just through the roof with excitement. I remember like the moment when I figured it out. I was like watching something downstairs with my family, and I just screamed. It was just like a very, yeah. It was great. And I released video reviews of every single season, so you can go watch those if you want to. I really had such a fun time watching it again, and I really just appreciated it even more. I've always appreciated it. But, you know, the impact it had on my life is just unexplainable. So I definitely, you know, I'm very, very happy that I got the chance to review them and to watch them again, and that so many more people got to watch it, because I just think it's amazing and it deserves a lot more than people appreciate it for. So yeah. And now, of course, we have the number one spot. No one's surprised by this. If you're surprised, I'll give you like $1, because the number one spot obviously belongs to the Legends Bates Motel. I love this show. I watched it last year. It became my favorite show like this. And not only my favorite show, it's like a lifestyle now. And not a lifestyle, TBD. The Vampire Diaries was a lifestyle. That was something special. But Bates Motel is not a lifestyle, really. It's like, it was like my rebirth. It kind of just showed me a world I never knew existed. It kind of helped me to like find myself better. It just helped in my self-exploration. I'm saying too much, but I love this show, and it's everything to me, you know? It's everything to me. As you see, I have the light in my room. I talk about this every video. But anyway, the show is like, me and the show are like two, you know? We're like the same person. You know, they're ingrained on my heart forever, and they also are ingrained on my wrist. So I love the show. I will definitely be releasing more videos about it soon, and in the future, because I love it so much, and it deserves to be talked about forever. But I love it. It's about this guy named Norman Bates, and he's going with, him and his mom moved to this motel in this house because his dad dies, and so they move to this new town, and they kind of move into this house, and they're going to run this motel. And a whole bunch of clownery starts happening because the town is sketchy. And the show is magnificent. The acting is the best thing you've ever seen in your life, okay? The casting, best thing you've ever seen in your life. The sets, amazing. The music, marvelous, okay? The storylines, the plots, the colorings, the everything. I could just eat this show and then become it. I just love this show so much. There's too much to say about it. Definitely watch it. If you haven't yet, it's on Netflix. Please watch. I'm begging you. Like, it's so underrated. Of all the shows on this list, other than like Mr. Mercedes, it's like so underrated. And I definitely recommend, because it's marvelous and no one appreciates it. So watch it. And that concludes my TV shows of 2020. I watched so many of them, and these are just the best ones. Yeah. Definitely think you should watch every single one on this list in that order. The opposite order. But, if you watch any of these, please tell me in the comments. Again, a lot of these are very underrated or just not talked about. So I definitely think you should watch it. And then come back and tell me, because I have no one to talk about these with, really. A lot of them. So, do that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I want to see what you guys' favorite TV shows are. So if you have this video, definitely link it in the comments. I'll see you guys later with another video. Bye.
It's such a